door right up here in front of your mouth. Down green.
All right, what's up at RBC? You're about to watch our next
Down here.
If you guys love this
This is
content,
what I call
please like
egg hugs.
subscribe.
Bourbon hugs all the way down your esophagus to your stomach. Hell, if they're not playing St. Peter's in the first round, they're getting all these freshmen that always say one round. So I told Calipari, this is the UK hug because it's one and done up top here. Okay? Cheers. 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 See, top, sweet, Ukrainian hug. Right here. Pretty smooth.
It is pretty smooth.
I'm going to put in 3 drops of water. Water molecules are 1/6 the size of bourbon molecules. So when you put the water in and you gently rock the glass, the water molecules are going to split the whiskey molecules. That is going to open this up. It is going to release a little bit more flavor. But when you nose it, it's going to pick up a little bit because the water is going to bring out a little spice. It's also going to reduce the proof. That's the old adage. Don't let anybody try to drink a bourbon.
Changed it.
I put 1 drop of water in mine. My wife would put that entire blue bottle in there. The more water you add, you're going to soften it up. You're going to smooth it out. You're also going to reduce the proof. So that's the old adage. You make it whatever you do. Let's try it with the water. Cheers. 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 Poured 2 extra, so I think I'll take one.
There you go. Somebody will drink them.
All right, so that is Bernheim wheated whiskey. We sell it here for right around $40. It's out there. It really was designed as a mixer, but it's being used more as a sipper. It's out there. But there's not a lot of distilleries that make a wheated whiskey because it struggles to find its spot. And that's because of a Larson is our product in the market. It is growing at a rate of 30 to 40% year over year that's out there. And being heavily driven by that 21 to 40 year age group bracket and the rich market that's out there. This is 68% corn and 20% wheat. So this is still 88% sweet. Dominant grain now is corn, not wheat that's out there. This is coming from the 4th and 5th quarters of our warehouse, and it is aged for 6 to 8 years that are out there. Okay? So we put a larceny, by the way, people are asking all the time, how'd you come up with the name of larceny? Back in the 1800s, all the way up to 1982, we paid our federal taxes when you filled the barrel. So every distillery had an office that was housed by a U.S. government treasury agent who would come with you. You didn't fill that barrel until you paid that treasury agent your federal taxes on it. Only 2 people had keys to the rick house, the federal agent and the master distiller. And it took both keys to open it up. Well, there was a gentleman by the name of John E. Fitzgerald. John E. Fitzgerald was a U.S. government treasury agent that was assigned to the Judge Distillery, which was a part of the Herbst Distillery out of Wisconsin, but they were in Frankfurt, Kentucky. Let's just say that Mr. Fitzgerald seemed to like his bourbon and whiskey an awful lot. So in the evening, whenever no one was around, he would take those 2 keys and he would sneak into the warehouse and he would fill up bottles with whiskey and bourbon for his own personal consumption. When they finally found out Fitzgerald was taking all the good barrels, and they actually called the barrels Fitzgerald barrels that were out there. In 1889, the Judge Distillery said, we might as well create a bourbon after him, and they created a product called Old Fitzgerald. That was out there. Prohibition came along. The Judge Distillery was not one of the medicinal distilleries. So it was an enterprising young man named Pappy Van Winkle, who was at Simpson Weller at the time. And he walked up and he said, hey, you guys interested in selling that brand of Old Fitzgerald? The guy said, yeah, we probably are. He said, what do you want for it? And they said, $20,000. He popped down $10,000 and he said, will you take it? And they said, yep. And in his book, Pappy Van Winkle said it was still the best deal he ever made in his life for $10,000. He was the guy who changed it to a wheated bourbon. It had been a rye bourbon up to that point. And now, in the early 1990s, since Weller goes out of business, Diageo bought the brand, and Heaven Hill approached Diageo in 1999 because we were buying their old distillery in Louisville after a fire. And we said, hey, you interested in selling that old Fitzgerald brand? And they said, yeah. We popped down $10,000 and we said, multiply it by 10, and that's what you have it. and Heaven Hill got the brand for a lot more than what Pappy did at that point. So we were coming out with our first wheated bourbon in 2012. It's pretty late to the game, right? So we figured we better have a name that you remember. So we figured Old Fitzgerald was either a man of great taste or he was a bit of a thief. And that's where the term larceny basically came from. All right, this is number 2. You nose this, put it up to your nose, open your lips and breathe in. It's still sweet. A little bit more vanilla and caramel. But the big pickup here, ladies and guys, if you pick it up, butterscotch. There's a hint of butterscotch that's coming from here. The difference between this and the wheated whiskey is still going to be sweet up top, but it's not going to be grainy. It's going to be a lot smoother. It's going to go to the back. But now you're going to get the bourbon hug that goes all the way down your esophagus to your stomach. And when you breathe in, there's the sweetness that's there. Cheers. Cheers. See there, the whiskey and the bourbon in the finish, and it's not as grainy. Put 3 drops of water in this thing, and it makes it downright dangerous. It's going to smooth it out, it's going to calm it down, and you could drink this sucker all afternoon, or all last night if you were a fan of Tennessee watching them get beat by Florida Atlantic. Now, here's the interesting scenario. How many of you guys like Bourbon? How many of you guys like Larson? And see, that's the challenge that it's facing right now, is that more than likely, if you're going to sip something, now, the other thing is, it's $40 for Bernheim because there's not a lot of distilleries making a wheated bourbon. It's $32 for this one that's out there, and that's why the popularity. I came here 10 years ago when I retired. 90% of what we were making 10 years ago was rye based, rye whiskey, rye bourbon. Now it's 70%. That's how much wheat now is being made because of the demographics. Okay? All right. Elijah Craig. This is the rye whiskey Elijah Craig. This is 51% rye.
That was the larceny.
Our ryes come from as far north as you can think about. Wisconsin, Minnesota, North and South Dakota. Rye is going to make your product spicy itself. So 51% of this is rye. Needless to tell you, it's going to be spicy. This is 6 years of age, and it comes from the 4th floor of our warehouse. To tell you how price dictates, we make Rittenhouse rye whiskey, and it comes from the 3rd floor of the warehouse. 4 years of age, 100 proof. Probably buy it at Kroger's for $9.99. Elijah Craig comes from the 4th floor of the warehouse at 6 years of age, 94 proof. It's $41. If any of you had a Pikesville rye whiskey that's out there, we moved those barrels up to the 6th floor of the warehouse, aged it for 6 years, and 110 proof, and it is $65 to $70 basically out there. One of the biggest enhancements to the whiskey business in the last 10 years has been upscale sipping rye whiskeys. So instead of using it as a mixer, most distilleries kept them on the first couple of floors of the warehouse because they were going to be used as a mixer. Now we're moving that same barrels up to the higher floors of the warehouse. The heat and the interaction with the caramelized sugar has been smoother, and now rye whiskeys have become something other than a mixer. They're becoming a good sipper. This is 94 proof, same proof as we have with the Elijah Craig rye bourbons. We wanted to keep the proof the same at that point. This is number 3. That's all right. We've got a top on it. But if you put this up your nose, the first thing you're going to notice is that it's very spicy. And that's because 51% of your mash bill is rye. It's still going to be grainy because, again, with rye, the principle of
It's spicy.
grain in there.
It's got more flavor.
But you're back to the bourbon
I don't get the
whiskey hug again.
alcohol.
It's not going to be all the way down your esophagus into your stomach. It's going to be right here.
I like these glasses.
See the difference? But now you've got a
It'd
bit
probably
of
keep it more
spice
sober.
overcome a little bit of the sweetness that you had before. It's a little bit more of a kick to it than you had with Bourbon. And the price is just about the same, a little bit higher proof. Our desire on this is more of a sipping rye whiskey that's out there, but price point about $20 or so lower than what you would have with the Pikesville. And for a lot of people's palate, the 94 proof might be a little bit easier than the 110. Put 3 drops of water in this. You're going to calm it down. You're going to smooth it out. It's not bad.
Yeah, that's good.
I'm curious. A lot of people have had rye whiskeys. A lot of people have had upscale rye whiskeys that cost considerably more. What do you think of it?
It's good. I like it.
It's been out for a couple of years. It's still finding its way in the market that's out there. It's really designed for the person that really wants to watch Virginia lose to Virginia Tech 15 years in a row. Having it that way. My boss for 20 years was a Hokie. You know how hard it is for a Cavalier to work for a Hokie and then get beat all the time. So that's the way it goes. That's our Elijah Craig rye whiskey. So you see the difference between Bernheim
I'd buy that.
and Elijah Craig rye whiskey. Now we're going to see the difference between Varsity and Elijah Craig rye bourbon. Everybody had this. It's probably one of our most popular products out there today. This is coming from the 5th floor of our warehouse. And 90% of the barrels that we pulled for this are 10, 11, 12 years of age. Anybody had this when they had the old red label 12 on there? Right? So for years, this had a 12-year-old age statement. Second hardest job on a distillery behind Master Distillery is the forecaster. The forecaster has to say, what are we going to be drinking 15 years down the road so that we have the barrels aged? This was out for years, there's a 12-year age statement on it, and we sold it for 30 bucks. And it sold like 2017, we had the dilemma that the demand for Elijah Craig 12 was greater than the number of barrels we had aged. 2 choices, right? Triple the price, that'll kill the demand, make a lot of people unhappy, or we could put in some previous years from the same 5th floor of the warehouse. Many of you know Bean had the same issue with Knob Creek, had 9-year age statement on there, and they faced the same dilemma, and they chose what we did too. They got their age statement back on their product. The reason why we haven't got the age statement back on here is we make a wonderful Elijah Craig barrel product that has a 12-year age statement on it, and we will not compromise that. We want to make sure every year that our Elijah Craig barrel proof is 12 years of age. So inevitably we'll get enough Elijah Craig barrels to come back to this as a 12 years of age, but we won't get it back obviously as fast as Bean got it with their 9. This is 78% corn, 10% rye, and 12% barley. Remember, this was 68 corn and 20 wheat. The wheat enhanced the sweetness of the corn. The only thing rye is going to do is make it spicy. Heaven Hill likes their bourbons on the sweet side, so that's why we put 78% corn. If you go around to a lot of distilleries and you ask them what their mash bills are, you can find a lot of them are 73, 75% corn. Heaven Hill at 78% corn in their rye bourbon is one of the highest corn percentages that are out there. Put this up to your nose. There's a hint of spice there that's not nearly as strong as the rye whiskey. But you pick up a ton of vanilla and caramel here that's been in the barrel for 10, 11, and 12 years. You also get a little bit of chocolate that's going to be here, and a little bit of black pepper. 94 proof. Top of your mouth, hint of spice. Back of your mouth, hint of spice. Back to the bourbon hug, all the way down your esophagus to your stomach. When you breathe in, there's that hint of spice. Cheers.
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 Cheers. Salud.
You add 3 drops of water to this, it's going to calm it down. and smooth it out. And I tell people all the time, I don't care what distillery you go to, with the exception of makers. Distillery's going to make a wheated bourbon, they're going to make a rye bourbon. You can spend a lot of money on
I got a little
bourbon.
bit of like sweets in
You
it.
don't have to.
I can see the cinnamon, for sure.
$32, $35. It's basically out
There
there.
you go.
You're
It's
getting
funny,
teas,
'cause I'm
you're getting
driving
something from a
around so
higher
far.
floor in the warehouse, and you're getting
Oh, that's
something that's
nice.
aged.
I like that. Yeah.
It's just a matter of which one you like.
You can find that anywhere.
How many people like Larceny? How many people like Elijah Craig?
Sure.
I think we're going to be pouring Elijah Craig for our toast stories.
Yep.
All right. Anybody had mellow corn? How do you realize? You know we have a 20-year mellow corn.
What? I did not know that.
It's coming out within the next week. Our Heaven Hill Heritage Collection this year is going to be a 20-year mellow corn. Now, here's a quiz. This is made in the United States. Made right here. This has 80% corn. To be a corn whiskey, you have to have at least 80% corn in there. It has 80% corn, 8% rye, and 12% barley. It has no artificial coloring or flavoring in it. But it's a whiskey. Why is it a whiskey?
Because it's made in Kentucky.
It's the only product Heaven Hill makes in a used barrel. And because it is not aged in a brand new charred white oak barrel, this is a whiskey. This is 100 proof, 4 years of age. First 2 floors of the warehouse. Look how light the color of it is. That's the impact of this used barrel. The 20-year one, by the way, is also it's going to be out there. And I'm dying to taste it. Now, you go down to Kroger, you can probably buy this for $9.99. So people ask me all the time, what do you use mellow corn? And I say, if you come to my house and you want Coke or Pepsi in your bourbon, you're getting mellow corn. It's basically out there. It's amazing. It has an incredible cult following. People come in and show me the tattoos that they have. So either cult following or it's the poor college student that says 99 is all I can afford to get at that time to get 100 proof. This is number 5. Now, look at the color, how light it is. Put it up to your nose. It's going to be sweet because 80% of this is corn.
It
There's
does
a hint
smell
of
like
spice.
mine.
Yeah.
What you don't pick up is the vanilla and caramel because it has only been in the barrel for 4 years. Top of your mouth is going to be that hint of spice. Here's the disclaimer: 100 proof. Lower floors of the warehouse, fairly robust. Out of this one. All right.
100 grams sugar.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Only drink half of it. Now remember that taste profile. What I want you to do is eat that piece of chocolate that's in front of you.
Yeah. 20.
The chocolate is made by Rebecca Root Chocolate out of Frankfort, Kentucky. It is dark chocolate. It has a hint of raspberry. The biggest thing in our business today is
Doesn't taste like
pairing
bourbon,
up whiskey and bourbon with chocolate that's out there. Dark chocolate goes with dry products that are out there. White chocolate, milk chocolate tends to go with wheat. After you've had the chocolate, finish the rest of that mellow corn, and you're going to see that the chocolate changes the profile. So, you go to any upscale tasting
Ooh, yeah.
today, or
Shit. Yep.
my favorite
Sweet.
bourbon club in North Carolina does an
Yeah.
upscale tasting, it's going to be there. They're going to have
That's
chocolate
right.
there because
We
that's
do.
what
Thank
they
you, Mike. Every time.
We don't have chocolate that tastes like
I know.
chocolate.
Yeah, we need to up our game. That was
I
good.
know.
But it
Good
shows you
chocolate.
how generational this is, because when I grew up, what did you pair up
You
bourbon and
can
whiskey
put
with?
up with it.
Everything.
Everything. All right, so,
I got a question.
and then we're gonna do a toast.
You were talking about the the small ones, right?
Yeah.
And you were talking about the barrel. We have been drinking this toasted barrel. Does that just mean it's charred longer?
No, so basically, well, close, yeah. So basically, you saw in the movie that barrel that was rolling down, that was on fire. That's your typical char in barrel that's done. And Heaven Hill, for the most part, their barrels are charred 40 to 45 seconds. It's an intense burn. It doesn't char the barrel equally all the way around. If you've looked at a charred barrel, it looks like an alligator skin to it, the way it's done. Toasted barrel, the flame is smaller. The barrel still goes down, but depending on how much you want to pay for it, you can actually have it exposed to the barrel for 7 minutes. It's out there. Most distilleries use a minute or two. But the flame now is going to char that barrel equally all the way around. Heaven Hill makes a product called Elijah Craig Toasted Barrel. We basically take the same liquid that we would use for this, and we finish it in a toasted barrel for about 6 months. It's out there. That is double oak now because it's a second-use barrel. But what a lot of the flavor profiles that come out of toasted barrel is a hint of marshmallow as opposed to the spiciness of rye. So a lot of people who do not like the spiciness of rye are finding that they like toasted barrel because they like that. I laugh. I said, you get marshmallow, you get chocolate, eat a graham cracker with it, and you're drinking a s'mores. But if you add water to a toasted barrel, it picks up this. So there's a lot of, that's why we proved ours at 94 proof, because people like to drink toasted barrels. But toasted barrels now are second only to the wheated bourbons in their growth that's out there. Everybody who's making, wineries use toasted barrels for years. And we've all found it. Victor's, I think, was the first one that came out with a toasted barrel product. And they were the reason why we had to do ours the way we did, because we figured we were going to age the thing for 10 years of age, and we figured we better get something out there real fast, and that was the fastest way to do it. That's it. It's $250 for a toasted barrel versus $150 for a charred barrel. So it's a little bit difference in cost, but the flavor profile is good. Okay, I'm going to do a real quick. I'm going to bring the Marcini around. We'll see what we can finish out here. Would you like another?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Which one do you want?
Let me do the Elijah Craig.
All right. Which one do you want?
Thank you, sir.
The rye? Is that an option? Or a small match?
Do you want the rye bourbon?
Yeah.
What's the
Okay.
birthday?
What do you want?
Yeah.
Elijah.
What's the birthday?
Hey, while you're pouring, the 20-year mellow corn, is that going to be 100 proof, bottle of mine? Do you know?
No, it's going to be 115 proof. It's not going to be bottled. Like it.
Okay. I'll do the Elijah as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
You coming?
Birthday boys in
What do you want?
By the time we eat lunch.
What do you want?
What?
What do you want?
Are you guys playing?
A little bit.
Yeah, me
Thank God.
Hey, this may be an early night.
It's like, I'm going to be fucked up by the end of the day. I'm like, end of the day. It's like, we haven't had lunch yet.
I feel bad for whoever's going to cook this steak. It's not going to be me today.
I got the potatoes. I can't fuck those up.
No, you can't.
Okay, I got the potatoes.
Somebody better cook a Vegas steak.
All right, cool. Y'all better call somebody or something. One of y'all's doing the steaks.
I'm gonna pour drinks.
I'm doing potatoes. I'm doing potatoes. I'm gonna be too drunk for that. I'm doing potatoes.
Sorry, Mark.
We're good.
You're just right up front, baby. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Think about Mark.
Birthday boy.
All right, who's doing what tonight?
Come on up, birthday boy. Stand up here.
Let me get my marketing guy in here. The man behind the camera.
Okay. We'll just keep Larry here. So, first of all, Larry is turning 21 today.
Hey.
So to Larry, may you have health, wealth, happiness.
We all got that.
Lots of years of Heaven Hill whiskey and bourbon.
Got that.
And we the lottery tonight.
We can do what we can.
Cheers.
Yep.
Okay, before we leave, we had a question that came up about the plaque that's on the building. So we open the windows in our warehouse, first day of spring, so sometime the next week, bottom floor, top floor, right? Got a air in, touches every barrel, goes out to the top. Evaporation occurs under heat. Half of what you lose are alcohol-laden vapors. That's called English. It's out there. The other half you lose some of the water we use to proof it down. Remember, it came off the still at 135 proof. We're proofing it down to 125 for bourbon. Those alcohol-laden vapors go out through the up window of the 7th floor and go into the atmosphere. But on the first floor, when they go out, they attach themselves to the bottom part of the building. Literally speaking, it's black hole. It's out there. And you can see how it goes up the warehouse. We have to power wash these warehouses about every 8 to 10 months because if you didn't power wash them, eventually it would turn it over.
So you said spring, meteorological spring, or yes, scientific?
Scientific. I mean, whenever they get around to it, with 65 warehouses,
You said it like it's a permanent.
it's the same thing like spring. Same thing like we close in the end of November. It doesn't mean that November 30th we're closing all the windows when they get around. That's what we do.
I'm throwing it.
Finally,
Okay. Put
thank
me in
you
charge
guys
of
so much for taking your time.
You can video it. I'll plan for it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Fantastic. Thank you. That was great. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thanks for coming. Do I need to give you another drink?
Oh, yeah, just close it. Yeah. Close it.
But I can't, how much we can serve.
All right, what's up, everybody? Newton, I got the prez here. We just finished up a tour at Heaven Hill. That was awesome. Yeah, guys, Herb killed it, man. If you guys like this, please follow us on YouTube. Yeah, come see Herb. He killed it at Heaven Hill. Yeah, Heaven Hill's it. Yeah, follow us. We're gonna do this again. We have Makers. You're gonna see Lux Row. We're gonna do Old Forester tomorrow. This is what we do, guys. Follow the Bourbon Club. Follow us, like us, subscribe, man. You guys, we're gonna show you a video of all the tours and how to do it and get on it. Like us, follow us, do it. Love you guys.